So let's start with the Vancouver Canucks. Pierre, you want to encapsulate what they may or may not do?
I mean, I think they'd like to add some scoring, but I think more so in a hockey deal. They're obviously not in on the big rentals. I had a little thing on Edler today in my notebook, but calls are coming in on Edler because Monday's a deadline, so of course they are. People are kicking tires. He's got a full no trade, so it's going to be fascinating to me. It seems like Vancouver's always a team getting caught with the full no trade in that situation. Remember Hamus and also in Verbata. But so the question to me is this. I know Vancouver continues to have dialogue with Edler's agent about an extension on the one track. On the other hand, teams are phoning. So I think at some point Jim Benning will go to the Edler camp and say, what do you think of this opportunity for yourself?
Yeah.
But at the same time, still see if they can sign him. So it's going to be fascinating to me, one or the other, which one happens. And if it is signing him, it doesn't necessarily have to be before Monday. I mean, they've got time to play with on that track.
Yeah, and we actually had a question from Chris about that. He said Jim Benning has publicly stated that he'd like to keep Alex Edler and re-sign him, yet there are reports the two sides haven't even met yet to start discussing an extension. This, by the way, was sent on February 20th, so that was yesterday. What value would you put on Edler as a trade piece, and is there a possibility that Benning is still listening on offers to see if someone would make a fantastic offer to move Edler at the deadline?
Yeah.
Well, they met 2 weeks ago, first of all, the agent and the GM, and they've continued to talk since. But could go either way, really.
Yeah, and I mean, he has the no trade protection, as you've talked about. I feel like the player expects that Jim Benning is coming to him at some point between now and Monday. And, again, it's all about health and opportunity. If he's healthy enough and the opportunity is legit where, he's able to move into a Stanley Cup potential environment, then I think it's something he'd probably consider.
I find with Vancouver, certainly in the last couple, 2-3 years anyways, that there's a huge divergence between the perception of what the fans and media believe they should be doing and what the club is actually doing. And witness the signing of Roussel and Schaller and the veteran depth guys, the lack of what I would say legitimate trade talk going up to deadlines involving guys like Edler and Tanev. It just seems to me like the Canucks don't want to offload their guys. They don't want to, strip it down. They want to try to keep making the playoffs, and yet, we're all on Vancouver radio. How often do we talk about, are they going to move Edler? Are they going to move Tanev? Are they going to move this guy? Are they going to move Sutter? And I'm like, I see no willingness on the part of ownership / management to engage in an offloading to bring in younger assets at this point. Yeah, they obviously did before when they went through with Burrows and guys like that, but I mean,
I think you're bang on, Bob, because I think they fear that if they go all young, that it's not the right atmosphere to develop their younger players. And I don't know if the past decade in Edmonton has scared off a lot of teams that way, but I think more and more teams, and I could name a few others, who believe that you have to have veterans around your kids as you're building your team.
I think, again, and maybe Jimmy Benning and the Canucks people are just looking around, reading the tea leaves, and recognizing that there are going to be good players available in the summer, either as free agents or at the draft. I mean, the Toronto Maple Leafs have to do something. The Winnipeg Jets have a lot of work to do there. Yeah. The Tampa Bay Lightning and Calgary Flames go down the list. So, if Benning puts himself in a good position on the draft floor, maybe you can acquire a couple of pieces that, are somewhere in between the young guys and veteran